we got to understand also that our history was documented in the Bible. Did you know that this was documented in the Bible, sister?
Yeah, you know they took some of it out now.
They took some of it out. So we're going to show you real quick. Just a few minutes of y'all time. All right, so what was your name, ma'am? Nicole, I'm Amos. All right, so listen good to this real quick. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1 real quick. We're going to show you who the Most High God was talking to and what will happen to them. Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Y'all hear that, family? Moses is speaking to all Israel. Now, if you understand the history of the children of Israel, they served as slaves under Pharaoh, building pyramids and things like that. Okay, so we're going to read what Moses said to the children of Israel after they were redeemed out of Exodus, all right, out of Egypt. Okay, so let's read this real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter
28 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
Will do it?
Set thee on high.
So now notice, this was written to the children of Israel. So they were giving blessings, okay? After they were delivered out of Egypt, he said, look, if you obey my commandments, I'm going to set you on high. You're going to be a top nation. Why? Why did God say that to them real quick? Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Why would God say that he's going to set them on high? We got to think about that real quick, because if you're on high, that means no one can be above you. Okay? And this is all done by the power of God, right? So why would God say that to the children of Israel? Let's read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee, to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
See that? So first and foremost, we got to understand it now why God said he will put them on high above all nations, because he chose them to be a special people above every race. So part of that blessing is that we will be a ruling nation of people, okay? The children of Israel. So go back to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Now we want to see the opposite side of that coin if the children of Israel would not listen to the commandments of God. All right, listen good. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you do keep the commandments, I'm going to set you on high. But if you don't listen to the commandments of God, read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day. That the Lord which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
all these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, God says that curses will come across the children of Israel. Okay, so now, for centuries, right, we've been fighting for some sense of freedom and a right to belong here in America, if you understand the fight that our forefathers had. Okay, but now we're going to read that God says this was going to be a punishment for us, right, going into captivity by way of slave ships. Okay, so this is a part of the curse. We're going to read our history in the Bible. And this is how we know that we are the children of Israel and that we're not just blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans. So Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68 real quick. We're going to show you what God says about this in the Bible. We're going to read our history. Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now remember, the children of Israel was delivered out of Egypt before, right? And what were they doing in Egypt, sister? Nicole, right? Yes. So what were they doing in Egypt? What were the children doing in Egypt? No, it wasn't their land, right? Who ruled over them? Moses had to go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go, right? So what were they? They were slaves, right? Yeah, so we now we understand something, because now if the children of Israel was in Egypt, they were slaves. The biggest word on the sign, right? So we're going to read about what God said would happen to them if they would not keep the commandments, and this is going to be our history right here. So Deuteronomy 28:68 again, one more time.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Okay, so we want to understand Egypt. Let's get what Egypt means according to the Bible real quick. Read.
The book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of the what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Notice, God called Egypt the house of bondage, or the house of slavery. So now, metaphorically, God is saying, look, I'm going to send y'all back into slavery. Right? So we're going to read it again. Deuteronomy 28:68.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Bible just said, guess what? The children of Israel who you see on this sign, will go into slavery. Will go into slavery by way of slave ships. And that's what we're bringing out to our people, to show them, guess what? Your history is documented in the Bible. You understand? We got to understand and take pride in what the Bible actually says about us. We have to see us in it, because for too long we've been indoctrinated. We've been indoctrinated with many different religions, many different beliefs through social media, through religion and all that. Okay, so read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold.
So sisters, what's your name, sis? Huh? Aaron? So sister, what happened to us once we got off the slave ships? What happened to us? We were sold. Let's read that part again.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman.
Deuteronomy 1:1, one more time. Because we don't want to forget who God is speaking to. We don't want to forget. Now, we know that this is lining up with our history. I see you. It's written all over your face. You see it, right? You see it, my brother, right? So let's read one more time.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So if Moses is speaking to all Israel, and we're reading a very particular, distinct history worldwide that's ever happened to one race of people, who is God talking to today? So who are we? We the children of Israel. Yes, we are the Israelites.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is